Imagine you show up to a pop-up event and one vendor's table looks like a yard sale exploded next to a Pinterest board, while another vendor has you pulling out your wallet before you even know why. That second vendor figured out something most people spend years learning the hard way, and we're going to break it all down today. Here's the wild thing about a pop-up table. You have maybe 3 seconds before a stranger decides whether to stop walking or keep going. 3 seconds is about the time it takes to read a name tag, which means your setup has to do the talking before you even open your mouth. Think of your table the way a movie set designer thinks about a scene. Every single object is either earning its place or cluttering the story, and there is no such thing as a neutral item just sitting there looking harmless. The magic word in all of this is cohesion, which basically means everything matches the same vibe on purpose. If your brand colors are forest green and cream but you brought a bright red tablecloth because it was on sale, congratulations, you've accidentally become a Christmas vendor no matter what you're selling. Most performers and indie creators make the mistake of bringing every single product they've ever made, like some kind of personal museum of everything. But a tighter selection actually makes people trust your work more because it signals that you made deliberate choices instead of just showing up with a trunk full of stuff. Visual hierarchy is the nerdy term for making sure people's eyes know where to look first, then second, then third. Think of it like a treasure map where the big X is your best-selling, or most eye-catching item, and everything else is just a fun trail leading people toward it. Merch integration is where things get really interesting because it means your products and your display aren't separate things fighting for attention. When your tote bags, stickers, and prints all look like they went to the same design school together, customers feel like they've discovered a whole world, not just a random assortment of stuff. There's an old retail trick called the rule of 3, where grouping items in odd numbers naturally looks more pleasing to the human brain, and nobody fully understands why, but it absolutely works. Try it once with 3 candles at different heights, and you'll feel like you unlocked a cheat code for making tables look expensive. Height variation is something beginners overlook almost every single time, because it's tempting to lay everything flat like a brunch spread. Adding risers, small crates, or even stacked books creates a little skyline effect that draws the eye around your whole table instead of landing at one flat horizon. Signage is another area where people either way overthink it or completely forget it exists, like it's some kind of optional decoration. Your price signs, your name, and even a short one-liner about what you make should all use the same font and color palette as everything else on that table. Lighting is the secret weapon that almost nobody talks about when they're packing up for a pop-up event. A small battery-powered LED strip or a clip lamp pointed at your products can make your table look like a boutique shop while your neighbor is still squinting under fluorescent gym lights. The psychology behind all of this is actually pretty simple. People buy feelings before they buy things. When your setup feels intentional and calm and visually satisfying, shoppers unconsciously trust that the product inside that beautiful packaging is just as thoughtful. One honest truth is that your first setup will not be perfect, and your 5th one probably won't be either, and that's actually fine. Every event teaches you something, whether it's that your banner is too tall for indoor venues or that customers always ask about the thing you nearly left at home. The vendors who grow the fastest aren't the ones with the biggest budgets, they're the ones who pay attention, take a photo of their setup after every event, and ask themselves what felt off. That habit of small adjustments over time is what separates a table that gets politely glanced at from one that stops foot traffic cold. So the next time you're setting up in a parking lot or a community center or a brewery courtyard, remember that you're not just selling products, you're staging an experience that someone will either remember or walk past. If you want to learn more about how we help creators and performers build better brand presence, check out the links in our description.